Well, let's talk about Channing Tatum. Remember when Channing Tatum was trying to get a Gambit movie made? Yeah. And everybody was like, cool. And then we kept hearing stuff about it. And then there was a chance that he was actually going to direct his Gambit movie. Well, obviously he's now promoting the movie Dog. Obviously, because, you know, that movie's coming out this month. So, let's see. Channing Tatum was traumatized after Gambit fell apart and says script was Deadpool-esque. Okay, Deadpool-esque. Not fully Deadpool, but Deadpool-esque right here. For years, the running joke of the X-Men film universe was that Gambit was never going to be made. The film had a massive star attached with Channing Tatum fully excited to take on the mutant hero, but the studio just couldn't get the script right, and the directors would come and go endlessly. Ultimately, when Fox was acquired by Disney, it appeared Gambit was truly dead. While Gambit doesn't seem like it's ever going to get made, the journey of trying to bring the character to life was stuck with Channing Tatum. Speaking of the Variety, while promoting Dog, Channing Tatum went through the drama and heartache that happened during his time of trying to get Gambit off the ground. For those unaware, Gambit is, we know Gambit. Apparently, the biggest issue with getting Gambit in production was the insistence that Tatum and his filmmaking partner, Reed Carolyn, wanted to direct the film themselves. Fox just wasn't having that. The studio, this is from Tatum right here, the studio really didn't want us to direct it. They wanted anybody but us, essentially, because we had never directed anything, which is fucking dumb. I think that's kind of awesome right there because, okay, so that would have been unique. That would have been different. The fact that the star of this movie would have directed also. I mean, we always talk about Ben Affleck and his Batman movie. And, you know, I always said, like, Jesus Christ, there's no way in hell that he would be able to direct that heavy bat suit and having to check the fucking, you know, the playback and whatever the hell. That would have been so taxing on him. But what if Ben Affleck had somebody like a co-director too, you know, where he didn't have to always have to look at everything and he could just still be a director but be a co-director? This actually makes sense. It's like the fact that Tatum had his buddy right here, Mr. Carolyn, you know, to co-direct. So then, you know, it would help it. And to me, that sounds like that would have been a good idea, to be honest. Interestingly, Tatum and Carolyn ended up making their directional debut with this movie Dog. So there you go. I didn't realize that was the case. So apparently it's co-directed by Tatum. Overall, Tatum describes the tone of his failed Gambit film as similar to Deadpool, and according to the actor-filmmaker, his version of the superhero would lean into the criticisms of the character, who is often seen as a bit ridiculous with his pink outfit with a big leather trench coat. And this is a quote right here. He says, they would call him flamboyant in his description. I wouldn't. He was just the coolest person. He could pull anything off. Most superheroes, their outfits are utilitarian, and Batman's got his belt. Gambit's like, no, this shit's just fly, bro. This shit walked down the Paris runway last year. He's just wearing the stuff that's so dope because he loves fashion. And it's true. Gambit does look weird. And that headgear that he has, too, and the hair, and the staff, and throwing fucking playing cards at people, you know. Ultimately, we know Gambit is likely never going to happen. Well, if it does, it won't be the same version that Tatum wanted to bring to the world years ago. And because of that hardship, the actor explained that he hasn't been able to watch Marvel films since. Once Gambit went away, I was so traumatized. I shut off my Marvel machine. I haven't been able to see any of the movies. I love that character. I was just too sad. It was like losing a friend because I was so ready to play him. Judging by the upcoming Marvel, yep, not going to happen. So, poor Channing Tatum, man. I bet you, hopefully he got that Cajun accent down. You know, that was what some people were wondering about that. I mean, we had a version of Gambit played by what's-his-name, and of course, Wolverine Origins, which was, wasn't that great. Let's face it, wasn't that great. But I think Channing Tatum would have probably, him and his buddy probably would have gave a little bit of life to it, and it probably would have been a hit. I think it would have been a hit. You know what's funny about that is, like, when I was growing up, I was always a DC guy. Never really got into the Marvel side, but I had one of my best friends was a Marvel guy. He was an X-Men guy, and he loved Gambit. He just loved Gambit. And, so obviously I've read some of the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, Gambit's a cool, very interesting character when it comes to the Marvel Universe. And it was just funny how when the movies came about, they just didn't touch Gambit. They didn't touch Gambit, and they decided to touch Gambit in Wolverine Origins, and then they just didn't know what to fucking do. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool when he, took the cards and he did his whole thing and was flinging the cards. Cool, yeah, that's part of Gambit, but I don't know. It just still didn't feel right. And it sounded like Channing Tatum was going to be like, all right, yeah, the character's ridiculous. We can make a Deadpool-esque, and then, we'll do something with that. But so there you go. Not too shabby. Hey, what's going on, Andre? How you doing, bud? But yeah, so there you go. That's what Channing Tatum had to say. Apparently, it traumatized him so much that he has yet to see a Marvel movie since. It was like 4 years that he was trying to get this off the ground. So that sucks. Kevin Feige, give this man his Gambit movie. It's not going to happen. When the fuck are we going to get a Gambit, though? You think Kevin Feige is going to do it? Well, first he's got to bring them fucking mutants into this damn thing. And like I said, Mr. Edgerton, Wolverine.